MLSAces Podcast, episode 196. This is your host, Tom Sweezy. And as you can tell, if you're watching this, if you're not watching this, then, I'll tell you right now, I'm alone. It is another Tom solo episode. Haven't done one of these in probably close to 100-ish episodes. Definitely gives me some reminders of back to the beginning before there was a Jason, a Sam, a Vaughn, even a Riley for you MLS Aces longtime listeners. But like I said, it is just me, so pretty much it will probably be a relatively short episode. And for anyone who's going to come in live during our recordings, for anyone who didn't know that we do live recordings. We do live recordings on Twitch for any of the podcast listeners or YouTube listeners afterwards. So if you're ever interested in joining lives, getting your questions in live, whatever it may be, we do record live. But if there is any questions live, I will answer them. But if not, I'm going to kind of go over the craziness that really has been the MLS transfer window over the past, I would say 2 weeks, but really the past 2 days have been just absolutely insane. So before I get into anything kind of going on around the MLS transfer window, around Major League Soccer overall, I really want to thank you guys, the listeners, the viewers of this podcast, of the show overall. I haven't done one of these one-on-ones in a while, so I figured it'd be fitting in a one-on-one to really sit here and let you all know that I appreciate you. I've been doing MLS Aces, running MLS Aces between the social media, the blogs, the podcasts, everything like that for a few years now, a while now. And just when I see people interacting or I get people, joining our MLS Aces community, the Ace Holes, everything like that, really just, it makes it worth it, I guess, at the end of the day, just to see people and interact people and talk about a league and talk about a sport and, teams that we love, right? So a massive thank you to everyone who listens, everyone who watches, interacts, whatever it may be. So I'll stop the thanking and the conversation there. But really, let's go into some major news that's been going on around U.S. soccer first, and that is, I guess, some of the awards that our national teams have won. I want to give a special shout out to the U.S. women's national team, even though it wasn't the gold that I feel like we were all hoping for, expecting. The women's national team were able to pull out a bronze medal in the Tokyo Olympics, and it was really, I guess, like I said, not what we were expecting, not what we were hoping for. But at the end of the day, I feel like it was fantastic to really see the women's national team still be able to pull something out after a few ugly performances and really still be able to pull out a trophy for some of these aging superstars. And we've seen the comments from the Carly Lloyds, the Megan Rapinos, that they may not have too much more, I guess, in the tank, or they feel like they don't have, many more games left at a high level for the women's national team. So it was nice to soak up those players and those moments and really still be able to see, the women's national team pull out a bronze medal. And if you hear me giggle or laugh through any of this, it is some of the comments. Chris, Graham, I see you guys in the chat. Thank you for joining me tonight in my solo episode. Outside of the women's national team pulling out that bronze medal in that win over Australia, U.S. men's national team, we did some pretty big shit. We won the 2021 Gold Cup in a 1-0 game over El Tri, over Mexico. It was a lone goal from Miles Robinson late in the game, well, I guess in stoppage time, to pull out the win over Tata Martino and the Mexican national team. It was fantastic because, one, we beat Mexico. That's always nice. 2, we got another trophy and a Gold Cup title, which is fantastic. And 3, I mean, it's 2 trophies this summer. That's big. That's 2 trophies over Mexico this summer. That's probably even bigger. This young group of players within the U.S. men's national team, whether it is the players that are based in Europe, whether it is the players that are based domestically within the United States, or whatever it may be, they're doing so well. They're producing. They're just really seems like they believe in what Greg Berhalter and what this current U.S. kind of staff is really pushing for. And though it's not going to be like we're winning the 2022 World Cup, or, before we even do that, let's qualify for the 2022 World Cup. But really, I feel like this is just an absolute amazing turning point, that we are winning trophies with this new group, with this young, talented, fun, flaring, they'll want to fight you, but then they're going to score an amazing goal on a point for the U.S. men's national team. And the fact that we don't have 8 solid players and a few rest of question marks of who we're going to rely on. We have, 15 to 20 something players that we feel like we can call in, we can rely on to go out, and whoever we're playing, whether it's, Trinidad and Tobago or whether it's Mexico, we're going to go out and get the win. So really, I'm stoked. I'm so happy that we were able to pull out the 2021 Gold Cup title, 2 titles within the Nations League and the Gold Cup this summer, 2 titles over Mexico. Greg Berhalter is here to stay. For those people who hate it, I'm sorry, but the dude's performed. The dude's gotten trophies out of multiple groups, out of more talented players and less talented players. So I don't want to dive too deep into that. If you guys are listening to this, I'm sure you listen to other US or MLS-based podcasts who have dived deep into everything. It was a great game. It was a lot of heart shown, and that group of players celebrating in the locker room afterwards was even better. Shout out to Shaq Moore and that live Instagram, because that was fantastic to see. But that is the titles that U.S. soccer teams have won over the past, week and a half, whatever it's been. Let's dive into some of the U.S. soccer news. And I guess before U.S. soccer news, some MLS Aces, some Ace Holes news. I think last weekend, the New York Red Bulls hosted the New England Revolution, and we had 3 of our Ace Holes come together, take a nice photo, and enjoy the game together, which was an absolutely beautiful, heartwarming sight for me. So if you guys want to be a part of the Ace Holes, if you guys want to be a part of the MLS Aces community, it is really easy. You can go on to MLSAces.com. At the bottom of every single page is a link to our Patreon, patreon.com/MLSAces, where you guys can sign up for a small fee every single month. You guys can get some cool stuff with that small fee every single month. But I think the coolest part is being able to get into our group chat, talk with us, BS about whatever. Sometimes it's a little bit more active than others, but most of the time we're all pretty much talking about MLS, talking about U.S. soccer news, giving our opinions, ragging on each other a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, if you guys want to be a part of that, again, patreon.com/MLSAces, or you can go to the MLS Aces site. The link is at the bottom of every single page. So I just wanted to give the Ace Holes a little bit of a shout out, because that was pretty cool to see, and a nice little surprise to see that photo as well. Okay. This is a lot of talking from me this episode. I'm not used to it. Like I said, haven't done one of these episodes in a long, long time. So get used to my voice. But a lot of moves around Major League Soccer. Like I said, the past 2 weeks, especially the past 2 days, I'm not going to touch on every single move. My nerdy MLS brain could probably touch on every single piece of news and really dive into something where it's impactful in some way. I won't be doing that. I won't be making you guys that miserable with what's been going on. I'm just going to kind of go with some pieces and signings that I feel like are super interesting and super important to the league. And for any of you guys who are in the live chat, if anyone I'm talking about, or if I miss a signing that you guys want me to talk about or hear about or have a comment about, please throw it in the chat and we can talk about it as well. So the first thing I want to start with is LAFC, is their brand new number 9 that they signed in Cristian Arango from Millonarios. He seems like he is the number 9. Like, they finally found their number 9 after Adama Diomande. Don't want to say Adama Diomande was a failure. He was a very good striker, very good soccer player within Major League Soccer. It just, I know there was some off the field issues with him that really didn't connect. And so this overall situation was a failure there. But Cristian Arango, he seems to be the real deal, right? He was in Colombia, down in South America, impressing enough where, he went on a few loan stints, impressed on those loan stints to go to Benfica. Didn't really break through with the Benfica first team, but was able to go on a few other loan stints in Portugal. Again, never really kind of broke through anywhere there. Went to Millonarios down in Colombia and scored a ton of goals. Like, I'm talking a ton of goals. Now, Bob Bradley, LAFC, finally got their dude in this man. I think they paid a reported $3 million for that guy. Might not be accurate, so please don't quote me there. I think that's the number I saw. But this is the striker that they are hoping can kind of fit in between and play in between Vela, Rossi, Brian Rodriguez, whoever else you want to say in that attack, but definitely mainly Vela and Rossi, right? Those two on the wing, Arango in the middle, and you are hoping there are a shit ton of goals going in the back of the net. And I think with a true number 9, LAFC will have that, will find that, because whoever they're trying to fill in and push into being a false 9 or, 3 wingers playing up top, it just hasn't really been working out. I think the most dominant you've seen LAFC is when they had Adama Diamande, when they had even Bradley Wright Phillips playing in the middle, whatever it may be, right? A true number 9 who can kind of just connect and complement those two very talented winger pieces. So Christian Arango is hopefully going to be that for LAFC. I feel that he could be that kind of player. But at the end of the day, right, nothing is a guarantee. We will wait and we will see if he can come in and he can do that for Bob Bradley's side. So I want to kind of, stick with the LAFC theme really quickly and not dive too deep into this, but it was also announced within this past week that Eddie Segura, center back for LAFC, is going to be out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, which really sucks because Eddie Segura is like one of the better center backs, probably arguably top 5 center back within Major League Soccer. And I think he's already a best 11 center back within his short stint in Major League Soccer as well. I really like Eddie Segura. It sucks to see this because this LAFC team is super talented. Jesus Murillo has having a hell of a season at that one center back spot. If you could have him and Segura and then obviously everyone else they've signed with the addition of this new striker in Arango, like that's a lot of talent on one field. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that, right? So Eddie Segura is gone. For the rest of the season. Obviously, like I said, torn ACL. To me, it seems like this is Tristan Blackman's job to lose, to really kind of step up and be that other center back opposite Murillo. I think LAFC is going to have to try to find a solution for a possible third center back. We've seen Raheem Edwards and Marco Farfan try to play a little bit of center back for them in the recent games. I don't think it's worked out too well or too successfully over the course of the full 90 minutes. I think you need a guy who's experienced at playing in the center of the park, right? You can't throw in Marco Farfan, who's a very good defender, and throw him in at center back and be like, hey, figure it out. Like, Tristan Blackman may not be a true center back, but at least he has that experience of playing center back. So I don't know what the long-term solution is, or if this is going to be such a detriment to the rest of LAFC season. But at the end of the day, if Segura is there, LAFC is a much better team. All I have to say there. I guess the next piece of information I can kind of dive into, and I'll stick with the LA theme, just not LAFC. We'll go to the LA Galaxy. In that the LA Galaxy, they signed striker Dejan Jolovic. Jolovic. I don't know, from Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga. Though he was not with Eintracht Frankfurt last year, he was on loan in the Austrian Bundesliga last year. The dude scored 20 goals last year in the Austrian Bundesliga. Like, that's very good. He's a youngster. He's going to be filling into the U22 initiative spot for the Galaxy and only adding to that sick Galaxy attack. So now you got Chicharito, who's up at the top of the league in scoring. You got this new striker in Jolovic. You got Kevin Cabral, Samuel Grandsir, Efra Alvarez, whoever else you want to throw in, Sasha Kleshchin, whatever it may be, right? Like, this attack is only getting better. And though I guess that's been the biggest critique of the LA Galaxy within the past few seasons is the attacks there. They're scoring goals. Let's not worry about that. The defense is also getting better and is also improving, which is something that I think you can directly attribute to Greg Vanney and what Greg Vanney's trying to do and trying to build up in LA. And this definitely seems like a long-term play, right? He's a kid. He's super young. He is going to bag goals. And if Chicharito's out hurt, then you have this kid kind of filling in. Would be interesting to see, and will be interesting to see how things are played out when both are healthy. Are they going to go to 2 men up top? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe just having some extra depth pieces there will also be good. Get some minutes off Chicharito's legs as well. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what this kid can do because just watch his highlights. The kid's fantastic. He's going to bag a ton of goals in Major League Soccer. That's just – I think he is more of a guarantee than Arango is for LAFC just because he's done it already at a super high level. Arango's scored a ton of goals, but – not like the pure amount that this kid has, and he's already done it in one season, right? 20 goals in a season, wherever you're playing, is an impressive feat. So I'm excited to see him, what he can do right now. Soon for the LA Galaxy, I guess. Let's stick with this addition to Major League Soccer train, and I want to bring up just, I guess, a series of additions here for the team that I'm the team that I'm wearing right now, and that is the Vancouver Whitecaps. Last week we were not able to, as a podcast, really talk about their DP signing in Ryan Gauld, who is been dubbed the Scottish Messi, doing very well in the Portuguese First Division. So very good signing, right? When you're bringing in a number 10, which is what everyone has been saying, from Matt Doyle, from David Goss, Andrew Wiebe, whoever you're listening to who's talking about Major League Soccer, they are saying that the Vancouver Whitecaps were a number 10 away from being a much better team, right? And they got that in Ryan Gauld. We'll see how much he can really impact on the field and kind of clean up that midfield to then add to that attack and see where the Whitecaps can go from here. But in the same exact token, the Whitecaps also kind of dove into that U22 initiative club today in signing attacking midfielder Pedro Vite from Independiente del Valle. A super young kid, Ecuadorian U20 international. This is the type of signing, this is the type of move that you kind of hope works out in the future, right? And I think that's what this whole U22 initiative truly is. Maybe not a dude who's going to come in and impact right away, but he is going to be a backup 10 to your DP 10 right now in Ryan Gauld, right? In 2 weeks, the Vancouver Whitecaps have gone from, they need a 10 to compete, they need a 10 to connect things and be a much better team. Well, now they have 2 10s. And I mean, that has to be a pretty good feeling right now for Marc Dos Santos and the Whitecaps, especially because Marc Dos Santos is probably one of those head coaches where his ass is on the hot seat. Like, he is needing performances. He's needing wins. The Whitecaps have given him transfer windows. They have given him time, and the performances just aren't there. So really, I think that the additions, the signings of Gauld and now Vite are going to be hopeful moves where we can get some production on the field. If the Whitecaps, don't make the playoffs, at least they show some potential where they're playing well, playing positive, and they're pushing for the playoffs towards the second half of the season. I mean, it's going to be still a difficult push because I think the Whitecaps are still lacking in talent overall, but I really like the moves in Gauld and Vite. I really think that this is going to kind of push them to another level. We've seen some positive performances already. It's just maybe making it a little bit more consistent. And I think that's been the Whitecaps' issue the entire time during the Marc Dos Santos era, is consistency of solid performances. So I like the moves. That's why I chose to wear the Whitecaps kit tonight, because I think this could be a little bit of a potential job saver for the Whitecaps and for Marc Dos Santos, because they're not bad. It's just like they're not good. and then really, I think that this could potentially be that kind of move for them and for Marc Dos Santos in saving his job a little bit. So I'm going to take a quick water break because my voice is like shot already, which is not a good thing. But I'm not gonna really be talking about the center mid that the Houston Dynamo signed in Adalberto Carrasquilla. That was really bad. I probably butchered the hell out of that. But they signed, a center mid from the Spanish second division on loan. Another young player kind of going in underneath Tab Ramos is whatever he's trying to do down in Houston right now and under new ownership and everything like that. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not trying to really, I guess, talk too much about the Houston Dynamo. I don't really have too many takes on that move. We'll see what he can add and what he can bring to this Dynamo 11. I guess one of the last out of MLS into MLS moves that I want to talk about is Graham in the chat, your boys, the New York Red Bulls. They actually decided to sign a center back and bring in a center back to play, not having a fullback play center back in the same way I was talking about Marco Farfan or Raheem Edwards playing center back for LAFC. They decided to bring in, a center back in Uruguayan Youth International. I think he's a Uruguay U20 international. His name is Lucas Monzon from Danubio, who play in the Uruguay First Division. 19 years old, doesn't have that many games under his belt, 24 pro games between Danubio and Montevideo Wanderers. Not saying this dude is going to be the end-all, be-all, next Aaron Long, next Tim Parker, next whatever solid center back you want to say for the New York Red Bulls. But I like it. I like that, first of all, he does play center back. I like it that he is, coming in from a South American club where we've seen MLS talent, maybe not the super high-end MLS talent, but we've seen MLS talent come out of. I don't know. I just really think at the end of the day, if you have a center back playing center back, whether he's a world beater or whether he's just a kind of a below average player, at least you have players playing in their right positions. And in the long term, that'll probably get you more results than playing players out of position and getting wonder performances and then getting a bad performance. So Red Bulls, good on you for finally going out and getting that center back that you most desperately needed, because playing Tom Edwards at center back was not the long-term plan for the 2021 season. So that's just my take on the Red Bull situation. And I guess I'll kind of transition into more inter-MLS moves, and I'll finish up with one more out of MLS move transfer here and kind of combine it a little bit. And that's within the two winger signings that the Seattle Sounders decided to make. The Sounders, first coming from out of MLS, brought in winger Leo Chu from Grêmio down in Brazil. Again, another young guy. I think he was brought in on the U22 initiative as well. And he was brought in, again, from Grêmio, I think a total of around 50 games played in his career, 6 goals, 9 assists between his time down in Brazil. Again, Grêmio is one of those clubs down in Brazil that people have heard of, people know, they produce talent. Well, do I think this guy is going to be the next Nico Ladero or Joao Paulo type signing for the Sounders? No, but at the end of the day, they still have those guys there, and whatever type of talent you can add to them and kind of push into this historic and fantastic season that the Seattle Sounders are having, then good on you. And if Chu can come in and do that, then I think that's absolutely fantastic. The next move that I want to talk about just quickly with the Seattle Sounders is that they also decided to bring in another winger in Nicolas Benezet. We all know Nicolas Benezet if you pay attention to MLS in any capacity, right? Benezet has played a few games between Toronto and Colorado. Not really that much of a contributor, that's the word, on the field, and really being able to bring in Benezet, I guess, has been nice. But I think it's also just kind of a little bit of a move to bring in some MLS experience depth and a dude to maybe eat up some minutes later on in the season. Not much there. The big MLS move that happened, another blockbuster move. We saw it 2 weeks ago with Marc-Anthony Kaye heading to Colorado from LAFC. And I guess, California staying involved here, and the Portland Timbers sending striker Jeremy Ebobisse to the San Jose Earthquakes for $1.2 roughly $1.2 million, which in general allocation money, which is insane. We're seeing all these $1 million allocation money deals this year with Mihailovic, with I think Frankie Amaya was a $1 million transfer, and now you can add Ebobisse to that as well, right? The dude has 4 goals in roughly 950 minutes this season for the Timbers, and really just a crowded Timbers striker pool, a very crowded Timber striker pool with Felipe Mora, Nieshgoda was there, and it just seems like Ebobisse was never the number one option, or never really in consideration for the number one option, because I mean, like, Mora was getting a lot of minutes. Nieshgoda was getting a lot of minutes when Nieshgoda was healthy. And then I feel like they're even playing Valeri as like a false 9 over Ebobisse at some points. And really, I mean, the dude needed to eat up minutes somewhere, right? He needs to play because Ebobisse is a very good striker. We've seen him play at the U.S. Youth International level. We've seen him play, I think he has 1 cap for the USMNT, but we've seen him play before, and we've seen him score and play very good minutes within MLS as well. And the dude needed to be a starter somewhere. And the San Jose Earthquakes, I think, got a real one, got a good one in Jeremy Ebobisse. The Earthquakes have, I guess, royally messed up. I'm going to try to go easy on the cursing this episode. They've royally messed up with some of the strikers they've tried to bring in and kind of work with. Andy Rios, obviously, being one of the last ones that have really just been very poor signing. Kind of that next dude after Chris Wondolowski, right? And this, to me, seems like that kind of future thinking. And yeah, like Ebobisse will be our starting striker right now, but like he's going to be the striker after Wondo officially, whenever Wondo decides to retire, right? Because to me, this Earthquakes squad seems like it's going to be a front 3 of Cade Cowell, who's been an absolute standout, Jeremy Ebobisse, which we know what he can bring in MLS circles, and Christian Espinoza, who isn't a goal scorer, but the dude will set you up and will set up Jeremy Ebobisse. Okay, that's a fantastic signing. So at least in the attack, the Earthquake are getting better, because the Earthquakes, I think from what I was looking up before, are tied for the 7th worst attack in Major League Soccer, which not a good thing by any stretch of the means there. So Ebobisse will hopefully, and I think he will, add more to that attack, be able to be a consistent striker, consistent goal scorer. Let's just say Cade Cowell isn't feeling it that day. And like I said, Espinoza, not a goal scorer. Carlos Fierro hasn't been what I think even Almeida expected him to be when he came, from Liga MX to MLS. So, one second. Chris, I see your comment in the chat, waiting for the Messi announcement. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be NYCFC, 100%. Not a doubt in my mind that it's going to be some, Man City to NYCFC move. Not a doubt in my mind. If we want to give him the, Beckham deal of giving him a full-on club afterwards, if he comes to Major League Soccer, I'm okay with that too. But as long as he's playing for NYCFC, I'm a happy person. I'm a happy camper. That's just where my mind is at. But the Messi deal, the Messi news today was probably one of the biggest soccer news ever. So, I mean, we do have 2 more hours of an open window. I think Don Garber will extend the window if Messi wants to come to Major League Soccer. I think he'll be like, you know what? There was an extra 5-minute clause somewhere, and Messi signed in there. It's probably what would happen. All right. Thank you guys for the comments, so I can drink some water and my throat won't feel like it's getting ripped out right now. All right, cool. Let's move on. We have pretty much 2 more signings that I want to talk about, and it's actually moves leaving Major League Soccer. Graham, that's actually a very good point. If they just agree in principle and then this signing becomes official after. I mean, I'll take that too, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's get to these last two moves because these are actually signed, sealed, delivered moves in Sam Vines and in Gianluca Busio, right? Long rumored moves, maybe not the best, kept secrets in the world because we pretty much knew that they were done. But we'll start with Sam Vines, since I'm more excited about Sam Vines than I am Gianluca Busio. But the 22-year-old left back, formerly of the Colorado Rapids, now it will be heading to, the Belgian side, Royal Antwerp, which in, most years are one of the better sides in Belgium, right? This year, I think they're off to a little bit of a struggle, but hopefully maybe with a little bit of an addition of an attacking left back, they're going to get better. That's just the hope, right? But he signed a 3-year deal with Royal Antwerp. I think there's a 4th-year club option deal to go